Hello, good morning. Welcome. I guess it could be afternoon or evening for you. Wherever you're watching this, whenever you're watching this, good day. And welcome to this week's edition of Coffee Chat with me. Hello, I'm Catherine Oster. And it's morning for me right now. Hey, good morning, Dad. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Coffee chats, this is when I usually do coffee chats. And for those of you who might not know, I live in Saskatchewan, Canada. It's summertime here. You can see the beautiful green trees behind me. And we have a river right there just in our yard. It's pretty magical and magnificent at any time of year. Hi, Karen. Thanks for showing up and joining me in coffee chat this morning. So, I wanted to chat with you guys about being committed. What does that even mean? And what are you committed to? When I look back on my life, I could really see how I was so committed to being right. I was committed to being right. And I mean, that's kind of what we're taught. We're really entrained to be right, to get the right answer. Make sure you choose the right vehicle. Make sure you get the right job. We are really, good morning, Loretta. We're really taught and entrained from the very, very beginning of our lives, even as babies, is to be right. Good morning, Juanita. Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. And I was so committed to being right. I was committed to being right in my relationship with my husband. And he didn't want to be wrong, so we were always fighting to be right. And that was not any fun. We did that for many years, actually. We have been dating, we started dating in the year 2000, actually, and we got married in 2008. And I would honestly say it's only been, I started giving up being right only maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3, and really this last year, really giving up that right. I hung on to it for a long time because being right meant that I got it, that I was right, and for whatever reason I made that valuable. Good morning, Michelle. And it created a lot of not fun, a lot of fighting, a lot of resistance and reaction, a lot of proving. And when you are committed to being right, you were constantly in judgment of yourself and constantly in judgment of the other person or the other things that are going on around you. And that's not fun at all. And whose standards are you actually right by? That's the other thing, whose standards are you using to determine if you're right or not? But anyway, in school, we're always taught to find the right answer. And the standard is your teacher and your textbook, etc. But when you start to get out of school, then who becomes the person, who becomes the standard? Is it your boss? So then that means that if your boss doesn't think that what you're doing is right, then you are constantly giving yourself up. You're constantly giving yourself up to prove that you're right to your boss, or to your spouse, or to the other people of your family. Or you can just give up being right and be committed to having fun. That is something else. Is fun and joy, ease, joy, and glory is not considered a valuable product here in normal world, nobody values happiness. Not very many people. I get that it's starting to change a little bit, which is probably maybe why you're watching this coffee chat. Valuing happiness. When you are trying to prove that you are right and you're committed to being right, is that making you happy? It didn't make me happy at all. And I did it with my husband a lot. I did it with my horse. Some of you may have heard me talk about coffee chats where I was talking about my horse, which there's a whole other event going on with her right now, but that was a lot of fight with her. I was trying to prove that I was the right horse trainer. I was trying to prove that I was right and that she was wrong. Good morning, Lynn. Committed to being right. Anyway, the last couple of years, I have changed that. I've finally given up proving that I'm right, trying to be right, and actually started committing to what works for me, what actually brings me joy, what actually is happy. And that's like changed, that's evolved everything in relationship with my husband and my horse and my business, and with my kids. You know, when I was trying to prove that I was parenting the right way with them, that was not fun at all either. So I'm just planting these little seeds in your world to look at, are you committed to being right? Or what would change if you committed to ease, joy, and glory for yourself, and what actually works? When you commit to the ease, the joy, and the glory, and you give up trying to be right, magic can show up in many different ways, regardless of what is going on in your life. That's the other thing. Please do not think that my life is all full of sparkles and rainbows. Although, you know, like, it's but it's the ability to have ease regardless of what is going on. And you know, what happened with my horse, or what showed up with my horse a few weeks ago, is a really clear example to me with that. So basically, catch the last coffee chat that I did. Last week I just offered a free energetic exercise to create your life. But the week before that coffee chat, I talked about what happened with my horse. She hurt her leg. Came home from the cabin. She's in her pasture where she's always lived, and she's like very, very sore on her left front leg. And she's my performance horse. I put a lot into her. I raised her from a foal. I mean, I'm very dedicated to her. And we had a show coming up, our first horse show in a few years, and she shows up unsound. And so this was a Wednesday evening. Phoned the vet, got her into the vet Thursday morning to look at what's going on. It looks like some tendon damage. The horse show, we were leaving for the horse show on Friday, like the very next day, but I was still desired to go to the horse show for the weekend. So we talked about some treatment therapies we could take, and one of them was an injection into the tendon to promote healing. So I asked that vet if she could refer me to Delaney's, the vet clinic near Edmonton, near the horse show, to get the injection done on the tendon. So yes, I get the referral to Delaney's. I actually got an appointment for her Friday afternoon, which freaking amazing that we got there. So get to the horse show, drop off the horses and the riders, get my mare to her appointment. Everything flows on time. We're great. Turns out that at the appointment, what we discovered was it was actually a puncture wound at the very base of her fetlock that punctured into the tendon sheath and created an infection in the tendon sheath. And so basically, when the tendon sheath is infected, there's this protein called fibrin that gets produced, and it doesn't get blood supply from the body to clear the infection. Bacteria attaches to it. So basically, they could aggressively treat it with antibiotics, or they could, the first option, the best option, was to have surgery, and they flush everything out of the tendon sheaths, and then they aggressively treat with antibiotics, and etc. So I just went with that option. I'm like, we need to go with the best case scenario. That was really light. They got her into surgery like within an hour. They really got it. And she ended up staying, so she stayed at Delaney's at the vet clinic. I just picked her up this week on Monday, actually, so she stayed there for 10 days to undergo the aggressive antibiotic treatment. They needed to make sure that the infection didn't come back. All of that. Now, that was ease, actually. Like, that was ease in handling that situation. We had no idea what was really going on. I just kind of new in my awareness that we needed to get to Delaney's. I thought it was just to do a tendon injection to improve the healing of the tendon. But it was something different. And they actually got us in that day. Like, I'm so still amazed. Anyway, so now she's on some stall rest. Her stitches come out today, actually, and her leg has to stay bandaged for another week. She has to stay in the stall. And she's actually being really great about, sorry for the wind, about being in the stall, you know. And again, my other friend has her laser, so after her bandages, when they start coming off, I can start treating her leg, rehabbing with the laser, and we'll see what shows up. But I also had to really, really look at for myself, am I committed to the Grand Prix dressage rider that I truly desire to be if she doesn't come along with me? Am I still going to choose that? And where have I made her, my horse, kind of a determining factor? You know, I actually, when I was out with her last night or the night before, I really had to look at, like, she may not. Like, they keep telling me, yes, she can totally make a full recovery, but she might not. And I actually had to look at that possibility. And if she didn't come along with me, am I still going to be committed to achieving the level of competitive dressage that I would like to achieve for myself, regardless if she comes along with me or not? Am I willing to do it with another horse? Am I, you know, like, I had to look at all that stuff for myself. And it's like, yes, I am committed to that. And if she doesn't come sound enough for, you know, future competition, what else is possible? What other horse can come along on this adventure for me, and we can support each other, you know? And I wonder. So I had to look at what else I was committed to. You know, it's been a really interesting adventure, but that's an example. When you're not committed to being right, the universe can show things up to support you in ways that create way more ease. That's actually magic. So it doesn't mean that life doesn't happen. Life happens, but it's like, what tools do you have? How do you handle it? If I were to go into resistance and reaction, or, you know, any sort of, you know, making myself wrong for what happened to her, then it might have not turned out on the path. And that's the other thing, is for this event has created a different path for me. I can see it. I don't know exactly where this path is going, but like, so this is, this is my attempt at a diagram. This is the trajectory, let's say, of my life with my horse. You know, had she not hurt herself, maybe this is where we were going. All of a sudden, she's hurt herself. I'm actually riding another young horse right now that I'm going to be showing at this horse show. All of a sudden, my point just moves slightly over here. The trajectory just slightly changes. And then all of a sudden, my path is different. It's interesting. I don't know. Of course, I don't know all the details, but I know that something has changed. And so that's another thing that's came about of this is I have been asking for another young horse to show up in my life for me, and he has. And I don't know where this is going to go exactly, but you know, he's a client of mine has a young horse that she wants to develop more, and she doesn't have right now the skill set to further him in his training, but I do. And I had been riding him, and I actually rode him in the clinic with Lindsay, and I'm going to show him in August. So I'm committed. Like, I'm still committed to getting myself in the show ring, to choosing this. But if my mare hadn't hurt her leg, I probably would not have asked to ride this horse more or to show him. So it's creating something different. Anyway, it's all just very interesting. So yeah, remember, what's true for you makes you lighter, and what's a lie makes you heavier. And so if any of this conversation is light for you, I encourage you to get curious about your life and what's going on with it, and look at if you're committed to being right, and if you'd be willing to let that go. And if any of this is heavy for you, meaning it makes you frown and it contracts your body, then it's not true for you. Because what's true for me is not what's true for you. And I'm just, you know, in these coffee chats planting little seeds for you to consider things differently. What else is possible? So, if you want to dive more into this topic of commitment, what you are committed to, what could you be committed to, how can you change that? I'm doing an online program called The Daily Dose. The title of this one is called The Big C, and it is looking at that commitment thing. And we just started, today was day 2. You're still welcome to join the program if you'd like to. So I'll put a link with this video soon, and you can also look at the cover page of the cover photo of my profile page. The link is also there as well. If you'd like to join me, it's daily clearings, energetic clearings, and conversation about commitment. Anyway, thank you so much for showing up. Have an amazing day wherever you are, whatever you are up to. I'm grateful for you. And if you got anything out of this video today and you'd like to share it, I would be grateful for that as well. Okay, mwah. Until next time, bye-bye for now. Oh, and if you did not get that creation energetic exercise, if you scroll down on my page, actually I'll maybe include a link with this video as well, but check that out. It's pretty cool. Okay, bye-bye.